Hi, I'm Nancy Picard, and I'm a Master Integrative Life Coach and the author of an upcoming book being released this June. My book is called Bigger, Better, Braver. So, welcome to my webinar, Growing Grateful. Originally, I marked November to do this webinar because it's a natural time to think about being grateful with the holiday of Thanksgiving. However, it became even more poignant because of all the California fires that have been happening this month. It's become so present in my mind to be grateful for so many things, big and small, and I wanted to share all of this with all of you. I absolutely love supporting people who are motivated to improve their health and happiness. And I am motivated to help you cultivate more gratitude in your life, which will lead to an overall happier and healthier lifestyle and improve many aspects of your own relationships as well. So today, we're going to explore exactly how this is possible. Between the science behind gratitude, mental and emotional benefits, physical benefits, and even ways you can start to practice gratitude more in your daily life. So we're going to really cover it all. And this might sound like a bit of a dumb question, given the fact that we're all here to talk about gratitude, but gratitude is a relatively easy concept to misconstrue. The Oxford Dictionary defines gratitude as the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and to return the kindness. Pretty straightforward, no? It is. And the only place where the confusion arises is when we develop contrasting understandings of what deserves or requires our gratitude. The ability to express gratitude freely is something a significantly high level of people struggle with. And the unfortunate consequences of muddled belief systems and lack of personal expression have led to gratitude sinking further down on the list of relationship priorities. With influencing factors including culture and upbringing, conditioned beliefs, life experiences, and core values, it's understandable that one person's definition of what elicits an expression of gratitude in any context will differ greatly from another. And it's also easy to dismiss opportunities of expressing thanks or performing acts of kindness, since today's world has unfortunately become almost too busy to assign much importance to them. But gratitude is important, and so important, in fact, that scientists now consider it more than just an action. Gratitude is now considered by science as an actual positive emotion, the effects and impacts of which on overall mental and physical health have been studied much more closely than just gratitude itself. So, the many different understandings, definitions, and expressions of gratitude make it difficult to measure on a scientific scale. Yet, neuroscientists have developed ways to measure levels of the hormonal response in areas of the brain which are stimulated by and during an act of gratitude. This has allowed us a closer look at the psychological and emotional benefits of practicing gratitude, something which before may have seemed slightly intangible. So, oxytocin is nicknamed the happiness hormone because of its association and release during sensations of happiness or intense satisfaction. It's produced by the hypothalamus and secreted by the pituitary gland, and it plays a crucial role in the childbirth process and helps with male reproduction. So, completing an act of gratitude is just one of the many casual ways this is released. And a great thing to note about oxytocin is that it directly counteracts the fight or flight hormone, which directly affects and reduces stress levels. So the very nature of neuron responses in the brain means that it's through repetition strengthened, forging lasting pathways for its transmission. As such, this enables us to have a more reliable baseline supply of oxytocin, which over time causes the gradual increase in overall contentment and happiness. So, what's the significance of this? Well, if you're undergoing stress or feeling depressed, practicing gratitude will release oxytocin and will counter the cortisol release that the fight or flight thoughts have released. So the more you do activities of feeling gratitude or things that make you feel happy, the more oxytocin you will release. And another good feel chemical, which the brain releases during acts of gratitude, is dopamine. Dopamine turns on our brain's learning centers and allows us to feel more energized, motivated, and content with our present situation. This in turn leads to heightened levels of concentration, which causes higher levels of productivity and thus increases overall work-related success and happiness. Are you starting to see how this is all linked together? Our energy levels are directly linked to the amount and quality of the sleep we get. And so the impact of gratitude on sleep quality should be analyzed more closely. And a recent study found that in moments before sleeping, grateful people are less likely to think negative and worrying thoughts and more likely to think positive thoughts. So the impact this has on overall quality and duration of sleep is significant, as negative thoughts are linked to disturbed sleep. Right before I go to bed, I tell myself 3 things that I am grateful for. And it takes less than 5 seconds, but I know it puts me in the right mode for sleeping and having positive thoughts. Dopamine is also considered the most important chemical reaction when it comes to initiating action. This means increases in dopamine levels occur when a surge of adrenaline makes you take action for the first time on a long-planned project. It's like makes you get up and do things. It's the brain saying, oh, do that again. So it's important to consider energy in terms of more than just how active we are on a daily basis. Everything we are and do is energy. We simply manipulate this depending on what we want to achieve, where we are, and how we want to interact with people. Gratitude maximizes the value of our energy, so it can often produce an uplifting effect. Considering how we spend and use our energy is important if we are to access ways to put better use through expressing gratitude and thanks. So where do you use most of your energy? There are many benefits of utilizing gratitude as a means of therapeutic intervention for many common mental and emotional disorders. When consciously chosen above other less happiness-inducing habits, gratitude as a practice has extremely healing qualities that allows the practitioner to engage with the feelings of contentment, balance, and satisfaction in the moment. When done steadily over a period of time, this gratitude has been scientifically observed to positively impact these conditions. And it also provides numerous other health benefits which boost recovery. So expressing gratitude for gifts or favors, or even just another person's presence, can help increase attachment and encourage closeness. People who do not express gratitude, conversely, are sometimes resented by others, causing a downward spiral or negative and harmful emotions. The practice of selflessness ultimately has the effect of taking the person from their preoccupied thoughts and head stuff and into the physical body and the immediacy of their reality. This stops them ruminating over and over again on issues of the mind and allows people to stay in the moment. Do you have any experiences with that? And if you'd love to share, please send me an email at the end of this, and I promise I will respond. One really interesting thing about gratitude is that it doesn't just affect our immediate reality. It also has the capacity to impact our memories and past experiences. Now, this is not to say that gratitude can change the past, but rather it has the capacity to change our perception of the past. Think about it. Remembering something in a resentful manner, you conjure up feelings of hurt and anger, and can very often slip into the mode of playing the victim of whatever the situation was, even if it may not have been specifically intended to you. But by shifting our perception to understand the same situation with a different viewpoint, one of gratitude for the experience of those feelings, emotions, or life lessons, we can automatically make peace with the issue and successfully use our newly gratified memories of it to move forward from a place of knowledge and learning. Inevitably, this newly found acceptance and acknowledgement of whatever situation makes it easier to let go. And by doing so, we can improve our levels of happiness. This makes me smile. This is me and my boyfriend. So another major area of studying involving the benefits of gratitude surrounds the impact it has on our relationships with others. This is not limited to romantic relationships, and yet scientists have often coined the term the Losada ratio to measure the ratio of positive expressions like encouragement and appreciation to the number of negative expressions, disapproval, sarcasm, cynicism, in married couples. In the study completed, it was found that the more satisfied and longer lasting marriages were those with the positivity ratio 5-1. 5 positive expressions to each negative. This shows clearly the impact reoccurring positive affirmations and acts of genuine gratitude can have on a romantic relationship. In terms of general relationships, both positive and negative social bonding, which occurs through most everyday interactions, also has the capacity to improve our happiness and levels of overall contentment. And again, this has to do with our levels of oxytocin. So perceived partner responsiveness underlies relational intimacy and is associated with feeling good and cared for. It's an important situational trigger for feeling gratitude upon receipt of a benefit, which in turn generally elicits a response from the receiving partner to reciprocate similarly. When you say something of gratitude towards your partner, it just makes them more willing, able, and wanting to return the favor. Emotional intelligence is a hugely important factor in establishing positive, healthy relationships both with oneself and with others. Emotional intelligence is the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, and also be able to handle relationships in an empathetic and conscious way. When it comes to gratitude, emotional intelligence is a key as it helps us to be aware of when a relationship or situation requires or could benefit from the introduction of gratitude or some other emotion. Like a child being bluntly honest about some aspect of his parents' private life in front of friends, he's not emotionally aware enough to realize the feeling of embarrassment that this might cause. It's a very basic example, as emotional intelligence stems from much further than just a child's ignorance. So once we reach adulthood, a lack of emotional intelligence can begin to cause problems in our relationships on both a work and a private level, generally manifesting in high instances of miscommunication, misunderstanding, and a lack of ability to discuss or understand difficult emotions or situations. In Western society, this can largely be observed as the unwillingness to discuss pressing issues on account of the discomfort or upset they might cause. So instead of minimizing the issues, this actually contributes to their growth and quiet empowerment. For gratitude to have a positive effect, a person must first become aware of their emotional environment and how they interact with it. Having a baseline understanding of why and how feelings arise when they do, what habits have been learned or cultivated as a reaction to this or that, as a means of dealing with them, and knowing where change needs or doesn't need to take place. That's all emotional intelligence. And the good news is that it's been proven that increasing gratitude can contribute to overall heightened emotional intelligence, as it calls into question the baseline awareness of emotions and how they impact any given situation. It's a funny interaction when someone thanks you for hard work, thoughtfulness, or effort. You feel good because you feel your energy has been valued, and they feel good because they've received help and or guidance in a certain way. And they have also honestly expressed gratitude for something which has assisted them or enabled a level of comfort or happiness to be reached, which previously wasn't there, and you have thankfully accepted it. So it's a double-sided coin. And this is part of why gratitude is so effective. Self-esteem, happiness, and confidence are boosted. And in the majority of cases, there's a more positive internal and emotional environment created for all involved. In terms of those who suffer from low self-esteem, gratitude can directly combat this, and high levels of satisfaction and self-belief, where before the individual may have been spiraling into a dangerously self-loathing circle frequently associated with various mental health issues. It also makes us directly focus on the positive rather than the negative. So by expressing gratitude for fortune or positive elements of life, the focus is shifted from the negative, mentally damaging aspects which contribute to rumination and mental illness. And there are studies that look at adolescents and how gratitude influences certain variables in relation to depression, suicide, and overall low self-esteem. We can all appreciate a good night's sleep, but did you know that cultivating more gratitude throughout the rest of our day actually adds to our ability to maintain levels of deep sleep? By accessing the positive side of life in our daily experiences before we settle down, we are automatically inviting a more settled and satisfactory ability to express and maintain deeper levels. Have you ever felt overwhelmed at the prospect of plans changing at the last moment? Even if it's just the slightest little adjustment to schedule, it can sometimes be easy to lose tempers and let frustration win the emotional battles that go along with the new situations. Along with emotional resilience and awareness, gratitude also allows us to cultivate an ability to adapt to changing and challenging situations when they arise. By learning to cultivate an attitude of gratitude to life and the world in general, we can slowly start to become more aware of the pleasures and positive sides to almost all situations. And it might sound like you're coming across as overly passive, but it's definitely favorable to getting stressed when plans change. Gratitude isn't just blind positivity. In narrowing down on what you're grateful for in any given moment, you really get to extract the beauty in surroundings and circumstances, no matter how small or irrelevant it may seem. As Ian Lawton says in the blog post shown on this slide, adaptability is key to change, and gratitude is key to adaptability because you see the gift in every time and place. So as change is the one constant any of us have in life, I'm sure many of you will resonate with this. What circumstances have you had to adjust to that required gratitude? However irritating you may find the phrase, attitude is everything, it is so important if you're determined to cultivate more positive emotions and experiences in your life. The way we perceive a situation or set of challenges is ultimately the way things will manifest for us in our realities. Gratitude helps us focus on the positive elements and allows us the opportunity for growth. And as Shawn Achor discusses in his hilarious TED Talk, which is posted on this slide, the more we practice this mental shift from problem finder to the grateful experiencer, the easier it becomes. This is linked to the neurological processes which occur in the brain when a new idea or practice is formed. The neurotransmitters are redirected from their habitual path or patterns and are helped along a new path, the path of gratitude. And the more we do this, the more familiar they become with the new path, and so the easier it becomes to instinctually go that way, instead of returning down damaging paths practiced before. In terms of productivity, this ability to repattern our thoughts processes is so important to concentration and productivity levels as it allows us to ensure we are in the right frame of mind in which to carry out tasks. And this is also linked to emotional intelligence. As to redirect the thoughts and emotions, we must first become aware of them and acknowledge their impact on our work. It's only then that positive changes can be implemented and carried out. I really do recommend watching this talk with Shawn Achor. He's a Harvard graduate student, who now manages Feel Good Incorporated, speaks publicly on a positive psychology, and he shares his thoughts about rewiring our brains. Suppressing or neglecting to acknowledge emotions is a damaging habit to fall into, and this includes gratitude. The act of suppressing feelings and emotions automatically belittles their existence and forces us to function on a lower level of overall awareness, as the honest and authentic emotions get silenced or ignored. Whether directly or indirectly, this will impact the quality of your relationships and overall happiness. If it occurs over time, the suppressed or neglected emotions will find other ways of manifesting themselves into your life, and this can happen in a variety of extremely creative and crafty ways. When the emotion is not processed and digested by the mind or body, you can think about it like digesting your food. It must go somewhere, and it may not immediately present itself in the form of one obvious emotion or another, but gradually, over time, the suppressed feelings will find a way into your life. So there are ways to help the stuck energy generated by suppressed emotions to move again. Things like getting active, moving your body, journaling, talking with someone close to you can have a positive impact. Showing gratitude and practicing every morning to start your day the right way is one of the most effective ways I know. Gratitude and our national inclination to practice it is hugely influenced by conditioned beliefs. Any norms which are associated directly with a social group, such as family, pair, social environment, or another form of formal or informal education, are usually the most impactful on young children. Given that between the ages of 0 and 6 is when a child's ability to absorb and digest information and experience the surroundings is at its highest, it follows that the environment we are exposed to during this critical stage of our development will have an impact on our core values and belief system. Enter gratitude. So if, for example, a child raised in a wealthy family was brought up not needing to say please or thank you for any casual interactions in the home, it's more likely that he or she will have issues expressing and understanding gratitude as they get older. Whereas a child brought up in a society or a home where giving thanks and gratitude are cultural norms, and even practiced religiously, will more than likely feel at ease with expressing themselves in this way, and it such may cultivate stronger, lasting relationships. Conditioned beliefs also elicit conditioned responses. So responding in a certain way to external events, which may or may not rational, can also be problematic to gratitude expression. Over time, as the conditioned person becomes slowly more self-aware and able to differentiate between his or her patterns and the realities of how best to act or react in certain situations, it slowly becomes easier to rectify any irrational beliefs. Gratitude is one of the easiest places to start. What we've discussed about gratitude thus far suggests that yes, gratitude can be cultivated and introduced into our lives in its absence. But wouldn't it be easier if we taught our kids the value of it from the beginning? Gratitude is associated with a higher level of happiness and peace in kids, while also contributing largely to overall positive youth development. This directly corresponds to positive familial relationships and greater understanding of peer groups. And it's not difficult to see the potential benefits this could have on a society as a whole. So introducing kids to practicing gratitude from a very young age will help cultivate future generations of more self-aware adults with the ability to create and maintain stronger and more fulfilling relationships. Various kinds of gratitude practices also impact different areas of youth development, such as moral gratitude and life orientation gratitude. The potential for young people in particular to use gratitude as a means of contributing to society and instigating higher levels of positivity and motivation among peer groups is astounding. Using social integration as a measure alongside gratitude, the study that you can get to from this slide found that being grateful goes beyond young people simply having good manners. It is a deeply ingrained means of communication and expression which benefits the individual as well as the society as a whole. So I'm going to go over a couple of the practice that you can practice gratitude with your kids in these next few slides. And these two beauties are my two granddaughters. There are some straightforward ways to start teaching your kids the value of expressing gratitude. First, it's important to remember that children learn by example. So this means that if parents and caregivers are already strong in their gratitude practices and beliefs, it's much more likely chance of children learning from what they observe rather than learning from what they are told to do. Generating an attitude of giving can be done by simple acts as writing thank you notes to your relatives on receipt of gifts, as well as thanking your children regularly for completing their chores or everyday tasks. This in turn makes it more likely that they will complete those tasks again without being asked, and it cultivates an overall healthier environment for the parent and child relationship. Another simple action which can be taken is to openly thank friends and family in the presence of your child, and then afterwards to explain why you did it. This is more effective than merely telling the child to thank someone or give them a hug and a kiss. Children want to know why these things are required of them, so make sure you can do this before instructing it. The same goes for other gratitude practices. Make sure you explain and give a reason why. It'll make all the difference. At the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence suggests gratitude shouldn't merely be a passing thought or observation, but rather a regular practice much like yoga or meditation. And there are many ways you can practice, and these methods will vary depending on your lifestyle factors and environment. And perhaps the most effective and accessible way to do it is start with a gratitude journal. Writing down our beliefs and thoughts has a way of cementing them like nothing else does. And by giving our thoughts and emotions time to fully manifest and process their way through the mind and body, we are fully allowing them to exist in the present moment. And as such, we are more likely to act on them and be accepting of them. So get a journal, get a pen, open it, and start writing. Give yourself 10 minutes a day out of a hectic schedule, and it will change the way you view that hectic schedule. There are numerous expressions of the 30-day challenge, as we've come to understand it today, but most surrounding fitness and nutrition plans achieve a perceived healthy physical body. So why don't we try a 30-day challenge for journaling to see if you can improve your mental fitness? It's a difficult practice to envision, but once you start, it can really have a huge effect quickly. Your gratitude journal doesn't have to involve paragraphs of prose and metaphorical language. It can simply be, today I'm grateful for, the sunshine outside, a healthy breakfast, the good night's sleep I had. And do the same thing at night. I am grateful for the compliment I got at work, or the bus was on time, or I got to read my favorite book or watch my favorite TV show. These small observations have a massive impact on your overall happiness and encourage a better quality of sleep. And voicing our gratitude isn't quite as straightforward as acknowledging it. As we've already discussed, many people struggle to express emotions in the simplest of circumstances, let alone recognizing the often vulnerability-laden sensation of gratitude. So while we might be able to rationally and intellectually see how we should be grateful, allowing ourselves to take down the walls we build around the importance of having control and certainty and just appreciate things as they are, letting go. Self-confidence is not necessarily a requirement to practice gratitude, and yet is a quality which is strengthened through practice. By accessing the genuine affection that resides within all of us for the blessings and positive things in life, we are automatically connecting to a part of us that is timeless and authentic, regardless of the circumstances. It's this authentic self which plays a vital part in our ability to let go of conditioned beliefs and preconceived ideas about what we should or shouldn't feel. Speaking up about our true opinions and authentic beliefs will then come much easier and gradually will lead to a surge in confidence. Another way to practice gratitude is meditation. Gratitude meditation involves focusing on all awareness of the person, the thing, the event for which the person is grateful, and sending all energy awareness there instead of letting it leak out elsewhere. Just practice meditation, gratitude meditation, with all of its varying, dependable ways. There are many ways to do it, but at its core, gratitude meditation is a profoundly simple experience, which often can include taking time to simply appreciate the water that's in your kettle, or the food that you're eating right before you eat it, or the beauty as you're walking outside and having a beauty alert. You'll start to notice yourself becoming that much more present. And you can try one of the listed here audio meditations the next time you're feeling anxious, stressed, or uneasy, and let me know what you think. The Chopra Center has some great audio meditations, and you can listen to online or at any time on your way to work, in bed, or even on an evening stroll. It doesn't matter. The point is that you tune into both the recording and yourself and honestly assess how and why you want that meditation to be effective for you. Difficulty making and sticking to decisions is a commonly observed symptom of anxiety and depression. The over-anxious part of us knows the importance of making a decision and yet also worries about every potential outcome that may arise after making the choice. Having the ability to be thankful for whatever situation arises after you make the choice is an example of ongoing gratitude practice. All of a sudden, potential worries and uncertain outcomes are released from our need to control or dictate them, and we can easily proceed with our decision in the knowledge that, yes, we can't control or imagine every potential outcome. We can choose to be grateful for whatever does result as a result of our outcome or our actions, and by choosing this, we're ultimately choosing less anxiety, less stress, and we're also inviting more enjoyment and natural happiness into our lives. Forbes carried out a study on workers to ascertain their ability to make decisions in difficult and testing environments. And the results saw that the majority of workers who followed the gratitude plan noticed an increase in their levels of patience, meaning they were more likely to pause before decision making and as such made clearer, more informed thought choices. The author, David DeSalvo, states, just as people in the study were preconditioned to feel grateful, there's likely benefit in putting ourselves in a grateful mindset to alter our perspective. What we can take from this is that gratitude is most beneficially used as a means of ensuring that we have a baseline capacity to perceive the positive elements of situations. Following this, the decisions we make based on these positive perceptions are more likely to have a positive outcome. If you haven't already been inspired enough to start exposing your kids and yourself to gratitude practices, check out this study that I've linked on this slide. It's about gratitude curriculum for kids. Here are 3 things the children learn from the grateful feeling that we as adults could implement into our understanding of the concept. He defined an act of gratitude as when someone has intentionally done something to benefit us, providing this benefit was costly to them, and this benefit is valuable to us. So over several courses of gratitude lessons, he determined that by exposure, discussion, and informative, emotionally aware teaching, the overall levels of happiness and contentment within the school significantly increased. And studies were also carried out in less privileged schools to be observed the risks associated with high risk and high stress environments for students, which had similar findings. So as we near the end of our time, I'd like to take this opportunity to allow myself to tell you that I'm grateful for you right now. So also, I'd like you to make a list, a gratitude list for what you're grateful for. Doesn't have to be long, and you don't have to email it to me, but just write it out, put it on a Post-it note, and stick it on your mirror. And make sure you're sitting comfortable. Close your eyes before you do this. Take a few breaths. And then for the next 10 minutes or so, just think about things that you're grateful for today, yesterday, what you're going to be grateful for tomorrow, and just write them down. It's a great little exercise. And take the next few minutes to be honest with yourself how you're feeling after you do that exercise. So part of practicing gratitude involves being emotionally aware and capable of acknowledging feelings when they arise. So in this way, we become more capable of cultivating states of ease and calm because we're more attuned to the initial stages or sensations which might not be so calm. It's all in the awareness. So did you notice any shifts in your mindset when you did practice gratitude? And part of the reason I love sharing this topic is because gratitude really is the gift that keeps on giving. It has a powerful ripple effect that can start with a simple thank you as someone opens the door for you, and yet result in lasting feelings of self-worth, strength, and emotional awareness. So I'm wondering if you have any questions, and there's no time like the present. Just email me at nancy@nancypicardlifecoach.com. And now it's my turn to say thank you again to you. I'm expressing my gratitude for you. And I'm grateful for your participation, and I really hope you learn beneficial ways that you can cultivate gratitude and all the benefits it has in your life and in the people around you. I truly believe that gratitude has the potential to change the world and elevate our relationships. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. That's from Melody Beattie. And to further show my gratitude for staying with me to the end of this webinar, I want to offer you a free coaching session on any topic you would like. And this is a great offer to fortify you for the upcoming holidays. All you have to do is contact me, and there is all my contact information, and tell me you're interested in the gratitude gift. And now I want you to be grateful and have a great rest of your day.